Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Ashar Zia. I hope all of you are fine. I'm going to discuss a common problem in children, which is known as whooping cough or pertussis. Uh, we get epidemics of whooping cough after few years if the population is not vaccinated to study the epidemiology of the pertussis. These are our objectives, and to study how we can prevent and the treatment of pertussis. Pertussis is a Sydenham first used the term pertussis, which is a intensive cough in 1960. It is preferable to the term whooping cough since most infected individuals do not whoop, which is a specific noise produced from the upper airway. As far as the epidemiology is concerned, it's a worldwide distribution. Global burden in terms of DALYS lost was 12.9 million in 2002 and 2.95 lakh died during the same year. So you can see how deadly this disease is, but the incidence and the death rate has decreased tremendously since the introduction of the vaccination. Pertussis incidence rate by year is elaborated in this case. You can see it was quite high in the initial years, then it is gradually falling, and every 4 years you can see the epidemic of pertussis. The pertussis is endemic within epidemic cycles 2 to 3 years after accumulation of susceptible children. There is a rapid decline of cases of pertussis. In 1987, this was 180,000 cases of pertussis, but there is a decrease of 83.7% because the pertussis vaccine was introduced in 87, and then gradually over the years the incidence has decreased tremendously due to the vaccination. These are the months. Majority of the cases occur from July through October. So these are the time during the year when we see the epidemics of pertussis. Pertussis, as far as the epidemiology is concerned, is an extremely contagious with the attack rate as high as 100% in susceptible individual exposed to the aerosol droplets at a close range. So, if one of the siblings is infected with the pertussis, the chances of getting infection rest of the families who are susceptible is almost 100%. Subclinical infection is 50% in fully immunized and naturally immune individuals. The agent factor the is agent is Bacillus pertussis in majority of the cases. This is the photograph of the Bacillus pertussis. In 5% of the cases, Bacillus parapertussis. Bacillus pertussis does not survive for prolonged period in the environment. The source of infection is Whenever there is a case of pertussis, which may be mild, missed, or unrecognized, uh, he obviously, when he coughs or sneezes or uh, and blow his nose, there are droplets in the air, and other people in the surrounding who are breathing, they get the infection. Chronic carriage by humans is not documented. The infected material is nasopharyngeal, and the bronchial secretions, droplet infection, and direct contact with the tissue papers and other things used by an infected person. Uh, the freshly contaminated formats like pillows and different things used by an infected person, plates, cups, spoons, because it is a droplet infection. So whenever the child cough or sneeze, eh, there are droplets in the air, and the people in the surrounding get infected, as I've already explained. In, infective period is a week after exposure to about 3 weeks after the onset of a paroxysmal stage. Uh, Secondary attack rate is 90%. Incubation period ranges from 7 to 14 days. Host factor primarily a disease of infants and the preschool children. So you see an epidemics in the schools, in the nurseries, daycare centers, higher incidence found below 5 years of age. So this group is of children is more susceptible to get whooping cough infection. The median age of infection in the developing countries is between 20 to 30 months, and in developed countries is 15 months. The infants less than 6 months of age have highest mortality because the infants does not get any immunity from the mother, so all the infants are susceptible to have infection with whooping cough. The median age in the developed country is more as compared to developing countries like in Pakistan, and the maximum mortality is in the children, infants less than 6 months of age. Female children show higher incidence and mortality as compared to male children. Host factor, the immunity, infants are susceptible to infection from birth. As I said, that you not get any immunity from the mother because there is no protection from the maternal antibodies. Recovery from pertussis and adequate immunization both lead to immunity. So there are two ways to be protected from pertussis is either an immunization or a subclinical infection protect you for the rest of your life. Neither natural disease nor vaccination provides complete or lifelong immunity against reinfection or disease. In some cases, protection begins to wane 3 to 5 years after vaccination, unmeasurable after 12 years. So sometimes we have to give a booster vaccination of whooping cough at around 18 months, and then at 15, at 4 to 5. between 4 and 5 years, and then at 11 and 12 years, because these are the periods when children are exposed to more children in the society. Subclinical reinfection contributes significantly to immunity against disease attributed to vaccine or prior infection. Clinical manifestations are there are different stages of the disease. The first stage is the catarrhal stage, then there is a paroxysmal stage, and then convalescent stage. Due to the long duration of the disease, pertussis is also known as a 100-day cough because many children, even after completely recovered from whooping cough, they keep on having bouts of cough for many months. The catarrhal stage lasts for 7 to 14 days. It is the most infectious period. Features of this stage are low-grade fever, sneezing, lacrimation, and conjunctival suffusation. When the conjunctiva is red and inflamed, cough initially is not paroxysmal in early stages but more annoying and frequent at night, does not improve with the passage of time, unlike upper respiratory tract infections. Paroxysmal nature of the cough can be suspected towards the later part of the catarrhal stage. The next stage is a paroxysmal phase. This stage lasts for 2 to 4 weeks. In this phase, the cough is the main feature. Initially, it is dry and intermittent and irritative hike. Then it evolves into an inexorable paroxysm. The bout of cough terminates with a long, drawn out inspiratory crowing sound which is known as whoop, and that is why the disease is called whooping cough. What is cough? Cough is a forced expiratory effort against closed glottis. The whoop is produced by the air rushing in during inspiration through the half open glottis. The paroxysm of cough may occur every hour or even more frequently and may terminate by vomiting. The paroxysmal phase In the paroxysmal phase, the child may appear choked and is unable to breathe, looks anxious, and has suffused face. The face turned red. The whoop may not always present in infants who present with the apneic or cyanotic spells. So, as I said, under 6 months of age, there is sometimes no whoop, and they present with the more dangerous signs like apneic attacks or cyanotic spells. Infants, as I mentioned, less than 3 months do not display classical stage after the most insignificant startle from a draught, light sound sucking, or stretching. A well appearing young infant begins to choke, gasp, and flail extremities with the face reddened. Cough expiratory grunt may not be prominent in this age group. Whoop is a forceful inspiratory gasp, infrequently occur in infants less than 3 months of age who are exhausted or lack muscular strength to create sudden negative intrathoracic pressure. That may be the reason of a lack of whoop in children less than 3 months of age. A well-appearing, playful toddler with a similarly insignificant provocation suddenly expresses an anxious aura and may clench a parent or comforting adult before beginning a machine gun burst of uninterrupted coughs, chin and chest held forward, tongue protruding, maximally eyes bulging and watering, face purple until coughing ceased and a loud whoop followed as inspiratory air travels the still partially closed airway. As I mentioned before, the whoop is produced by the air rushing in during inspiration through the half-open glottis. This is the diagrammatic representation when the child open mouth take a deep breath in and then cough and make a noise and then it is followed by the vomiting. In adults whooping cough, the adult describe a sudden feeling of strangulation followed by uninterrupted coughs, feeling of suffocation, bursting, headache, diminished awareness, and then a gasping breath, usually without a whoop. This is usually the description given by the adults who have whooping cough. The next phase of the disease is a convalescent phase. During convalescence, the interval between the paroxysm of the cough increases and severity of the episode decreases gradually. This is basically a healing phase. Paradoxically, in infants, cough and whoop may become louder and more classic in convalescence phase. Clinical manifestations. Additional notes are the immunized children have a foreshortening of all stages of pertussis. Adults have no distinct stages. In infants less than 3 months, the clitoral stage is usually a few days or not recognized at all when apnea, choking, or gasping cough herald the onset of the disease. So there may be an alteration of the presentation in infants less than 3 months of age when there is sometimes no clitoral stage of the disease. Diagnosis is usually clinical. High suspicion index is in individual having pure or predominant complaint of cough followed by vomiting and absent fever, malaise, myalgia, exanthema, sore throat, hoarseness, tachypnea, wheeze, or rales. Diagnosis in infants less than 3 months of age can present with apnea and cyanosis before appreciation of cough in the is the clue occasionally cause of a sudden infant death when the child is found dead early in the morning or sometimes during sleep. Diagnosis. The blood picture, complete blood examination shows leukocytosis. The count varies between 15,000 to 100,000. There is an absolute lymphocytosis. Absolute increase in neutrophils suggests a differential diagnosis or secondary bacterial infection. Chest radiograph shows only mildly abnormal perihilar infiltrate or edema, sometimes butterfly appearance, and variable atelectasis. Paroxysmal consolidation uh, suggests secondary bacterial infection. Occasionally, pneumothorax, pneumomediastinum, and air leak in the soft tissues can occur. Diagnosis bacteriological testing is isolation of the Bacillus pertussis is the gold standard in diagnosis. It is positive in catarrhal and the paroxysmal stage, but not in the convalescent stage. This is the method when we taking a swab from the upper airway, and this is the plate showing growth of the Bacillus pertussis. We can diagnose the pertussis by serological testing, test for the detection of the antibodies in the acute and the convalescent samples are most sensitive tests in immunized individuals. Antibodies to the pertussis resist two standard deviation indicates a recent infection. It is useful epidemiologically when we are doing some research projects. Differential diagnosis, other viral infection can present like a whooping cough, adenoviral infections, distinguishable by the presence of fever, sore throat, and conjunctivitis. Mycoplasma infection is distinguishable by history of fever, headache, and systemic symptoms, frequent rails on the chest auscultation. Afebrile pneumonia, chlamydia trachomatis, distinguishable by the staccato cough. It means the breath with every cough. Purulent conjunctivitis, tachypnea, and rales on chest auscultation. Afebrile pneumonia, RSV infection, distinguishable by the lower respiratory tract signs. This is photograph of a RSV infection, and this is a chlamydia trachomatis. Complications, as I mentioned, in children less than 6 months of age, apnea, secondary infections like otitis media, pneumonia, flaring of the existing TB infections, malnutrition. These children are malnourished, and if they have whooping cough, there may be a flaring of the existing TB infections. And this shows the TB of the upper part of the lungs. The complications due to physical sequelae of the forceful coughing is a conjunctival or scleral hemorrhage. You can see the subconjunctival hemorrhage. There may be development of a petechiae in the upper part of the uh, body due to the forceful coughing. Uh, Physical sequelae due to the forceful coughing can present with the epistaxis when there is a rupture of the small veins in the little area. There may be a hemorrhage in the CNS and retina. There may be development of a pneumothorax due to rupture of the small bullae, or there may be a subcutaneous emphysema when you will see the swelling of the face or the chest. There may be umbilical or inguinal hernia due to the increase in the pressure, intra-abdominal pressure. Uh, as far as the treatment is concerned, antibiotics are useful only in the catarrhal stage. Once the child goes into a paroxysmal stage, it is very difficult to abort the attack. Erythromycin is the drug of choice, and it is given in 40 to 50 milligram per kilogram per day in 4 divided doses for 14 days. Maximum dose is 2 gram per 24 hours. Respiratory isolation for 5 days after the start of erythromycin therapy. Alternative drugs are clarithromycin 15 to 20 milligram per kilogram per day in two divided doses for 7 days. Maximum dose is 1 gram per 24 hour. The other drug is azithromycin 10 milligram per kilogram per day once daily for 5 days. You can give ampicillin, rifampicin, trimoxazole are modestly active against pertussis. The first and the second generation cephalosporins are not active against pertussis. Care of the household and the close contact when there is a case of a pertussis at home. You can give erythromycin 40 to 50 milligram per kilogram per day in 4 divided doses for 14 days regardless of the age, history of immunization and symptoms. If there are children or are old people at home, those who are in contact with a case of a whooping cough. Prevention is usually due to vaccination, and the, the vaccination is a part of, as you know, of the EPI program when we give a penta injection which contains diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hepatitis B, and hip, hip infection, Haemophilus influenza type B, meningitis. This vaccine, which is a DTP, developed in the late 1940s, as bacteria killed by the heat and formalin, controversial because of the local and the systemic side effects, can give you redness, pain and swelling, and fever in 30 to 70% of children. The efficacy of 3 doses of the vaccine is 80 to 90%, so it is quite effective uh, against whooping cough. Uh, because of the side effects of the whooping cough vaccination, uh, the acellular pertussis vaccine was prepared. It's called purified acellular vaccine. It had it was introduced in 1981 by Japan. Contains the subcomponents of the bacteria Filamentous agglutinin (FHA) and pertussis toxin. It is more safe, usually given 3 doses um, in all susceptible children. The DTP vaccine is given in a dose of 0.5 ml as intramuscular injection, and the, the, the there are 3 doses given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks as a part of a EPI program in Pakistan. Conclusions is pertussis is a vaccine preventable disease caused by the Bacillus pertussis. It is characterized by intensive cough and whoop and absence of other systemic features. Highly contagious disease, prophylaxis of all contacts recommended. The only way to protect children is vaccination. So recommending vaccination as an EPI program to all the children is the only answer to prevent having whooping cough, which can be a serious disease in infants less than 6 months of age. Thank you very much. I hope It will help you to understand uh, the whooping cough, which is a quite a common and dangerous disease in children. If you have any question, please email me. My email address is rzia56 at the rate hotmail.com. My mobile number is 0300 8440973, and my WhatsApp number is same 0300 8440973. If you have any question, please send me. I will be delighted to answer all your questions. I hope you are safe at home. See you soon. Thank you very much. Khuda Hafiz.